Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lakeisha Moody, and I am your God. I would first like to apologize for my late arrival if I have not come forward fast enough, or come out fast enough, or stood up for myself fast enough. I can only explain and express to you that the need and the want to do it was there. The words were not. The security was not there. I am so insecure with myself because of the things that I believed of myself that I portrayed myself in such a way. And I really sincerely want to apologize from the bottom of my heart if any of you felt disrespected, if any of you felt neglected. Those were not my intentions. I promise you that. I promise you that. Not my intentions. My sole intention was to not be impulsive, because I've done that in the past and it has fumbled me up and it has set me further back. So I really wanted to wait until I was completely comfortable with myself in order to express what I needed to express, and so that everybody understands me and can appreciate what I've been through. So long ago, I was asked to come here or I was sent here to find out what narcissism is about. And upon that, I was raised in a narcissistic family dynamic. My mom was the matriarch and my grandfather was the patriarch. Believe it or not, my grandmother was the enabler, and my Uncle Stephen was the golden child, and my Uncle James was kind of like the backup scapegoat kind of type of person. I didn't realize that life was like a lot like chess. Although I really never played chess before, but one of my play brothers, Six, said, Keish, you got to be real careful when you're playing chess. It's a lot like life, and there's pawns, and people that are closest to you will use you as such, And I began to realize and look at my life at that point. Why do you think people in the same bloodline and family dynamic treat each other the way that they do? My guess is that a lot of jealousy, lack of communication. Everybody is on a different page. When you're on different pages, you tend to either make up your own stories or go with the flow on how you feel, because that's just how you feel. Regardless of the rules, boundaries, privacy, all of that. When I was raised in this family dynamic and really found out what narcissism was about, it shook me to my core. And I was never the same. My father asked me from the heavens on a specific day when I was taken from where I was and placed into this home to leave because they were going to murder me. I told him I was not ready to die. I'm not exactly sure what he said after that, but he did say that he asked me when I wanted to wake up, or when did he want when did I want him to wake me up? And I believe I must have said around 40 or 44 or something. Here I am at 46. Had I known beforehand, well, I guess I did, because he showed me everything that was going to happen before I was born. And then he dumped me underwater, and then there I was. But there were some circumstances that I don't quite remember concerning a pregnancy of some sort. That's neither here nor there. I'm just going to go on about my story. So I was brought to my grandparents' house, and my folks went into my uncle's room. And I proceeded to tell them when they came out that I know what they were doing behind closed doors. And they said, "How do you know?" I said, "Because God showed me." And they started flipping out, saying, "You are not God, and what do you think you know?" And, just giving me a bunch of havoc. And they were being really sarcastic with me, really nasty. And I want to say it's because I got my grandmother fired from a daycare because I saw her mistreating someone, and I spoke up and I saved that child, and they closed her down, I believe, and I was in trouble. So I believe my mom was stalking me, waited for the right opportunity, captured me. I'm really not certain how this worked or how that worked, because I believe I attended my grandmother's daycare at that time. In any event, some time must have passed, and this is what happened. It's like everybody started yelling at me at one time, causing me to become very anxious and nervous and upset. Something would happen in the home, and they would blame me. They would often attack my character, attack my appearance. I was only 6. I was told that I was ugly, and that I was dumb, and that I didn't learn very fast. So if I ever had questions about homework or anything like that, they would ignore me because they said I was too dumb to learn, and to wait till I got to school the next day. But I couldn't leave the table until my homework was done, even though I didn't understand it. Power, privilege, money, status, things, and objects are the basis, I believe, of narcissism. See, one thinks that they are so grandiose and all so sophisticated that they project their insecurities onto others because they cannot look within themselves to see the evil that they may have done and to admit it. So they project it onto somebody else. So this, of course, heightened my insecurities. I always, and still till this day, feel that I've done something wrong. I feel, or I felt most of the time throughout my life, that I couldn't get anything right, that I was dumb, and it caused me to rely on my mother for her opinions, for her validation, or for her stamp of approval, because validation is something that you don't get from your family. So even though I was at this place, this home, for quite a while, I developed a love for this woman. I called her Mom. She was my mommy. And as a matter of fact, I used to go to bed crying. At some point later down the line, I used to go to bed crying because I loved her so much. And I believe I did that because I saw how my mom was passionate about her family, and it wasn't reciprocated. One particular family member being my grandfather. And I say that because I was used a lot. See, I learned to lie from my family. I was abused and used by my family. So that taught me to let others use and abuse me throughout my life because that's all I knew until they started correcting me at a later time as I got older. And different distant family members were infiltrated in my life to make sure that I stayed and remained the scapegoat. I want to tell you that narcissism for the victim is the most horrific thing that any child, any human being, a child or adult, should ever have to endure. Because not only is it your family member, but they're basically saying, hey, I can't wear these truths about me, so I'm going to defame you, I'm going to devalue you, I'm going to break you down and reset you into my reality. So then when I do it, maybe I'll start to believe it, and then you can take it on, and you can take on all these responsibilities. I think that my mom was probably the scapegoat for so long that she needed another female in her life or in that family unit to take on some of that pain. Because she had been doing it for so long. It's one thing when your family abuses you, but when your family subjects you to abuse, that's a whole nother level. When they take you to someone's house to be abused. I was sexually abused, spiritually abused, emotionally abused, psychologically abused, and verbally abused on a daily from 5 different people. It happened whenever they felt like it. There were no boundaries where I was concerned. I was not allowed to say no. If I did, I was questioned and ridiculed and reprimanded that how dare I. And I think the brink of it all, the last straw that they were able to pull was, do you want us to love you? We'll love you if you just let us, or we'll love you if you just do this, or we'll love you if you just do that. So I did it. I did the things that they asked me to do against my better judgment, because I did stand up at one point and I asked, why does it have to be like this? Why does it have to result to, this is supposed to be my grandmother and you want me to touch on her privates, and you in turn want me to be available so that you can let other people and my grandfather's friends come in and touch on me, and to be able to come and have your way with me sexually. I'm only 6 years old, and then I had to go to school where they enrolled me, and I had to endure the verbal abuse mostly from adults and other children at school. My chair was often pulled out when I would get ready to sit down, and by my own people. They made sure that they made me feel as uncomfortable as possible. A narcissist does not have the capability of feeling empathy for another human life. And I'm going to tell you that I can kind of appreciate why and understand why they don't. My time is about to run out, so I am going to close this off with a message for anyone who might have sustained this type of abuse in their home. Don't give up. Talk about it to anybody who will listen. Please know that I love you, and I'm here, and I'm sorry that I'm late. And I'm going to give this my all to be as consistent as possible, for I've never been consistent with anything in my life, but this I plan to. Good night.